Superhero movies are done to death. A fresh and bold take you've never heard, I'm sure. The decline of this once money-spinning genre is historic, if not predictable. Every genre has a heyday before subsiding, most notable being the Western's craze in Hollywood. But nothing after that quite gripped us like superhero flicks. That comforting template of a man or woman being given immense power and a dead loved one to really give them that altruistic edge. It's been done to death at this point. In fact, it's been so done to death, the satires of it are approaching mainstream template status. But what if you wanted the template? Yeah, you can get it from the endless shit Marvel and DC never stop spewing out. No. What if you wanted the template done well? Well, you've got Invincible and The Boy. No, in a movie. Well, you're kind of shit out of luck there. Shang-Chi is cool, but that's just plain bread template. If you want that template with just the right amount of wild creativity, you'd get Maaveeran is a 2023 action superhero masala movie that is great. It's the template superhero origin story, but updated to modern sensibilities and artfully blended with politics and classism. One thing all these superhero template flicks miss out on is that they are just kinda like bread. Bread's nice, but it's only as good as what you have in the sandwich. And these superhero flicks never blend it with anything other than the promise of a greater story or some genre stylings here and there. Such as that Marvel universe that is just filled with so much setup at this point, what are they even gonna do for the build-up? Or some genre stylings, like what DC is doing. DC is doing it well, but that's just one movie in my opinion. Maaveeran goes for a long throw instead, unique in both superpower and story. Its setup is more layered than most everything else. Satya is an aspiring cartoonist who works for a newspaper, drawing comics that someone else steals the credit for. He also lives in a slum with his widowed mother who lost her husband due to all these elements are not mere backstory fodder too. They all come back and play a central role in the plot. As they're forced to move out of their slum and into a new government project, they find out they've been scammed as the building is shittily made and will fall at any moment. Here we set up the villain of the film, the system, or at least the face of it in Miskin. He's done this simply to win over some goodwill in the upcoming election, but his plans go to shit as Satya begins to accidentally undermine it with his superpower, a narrator. Yeah, his superpower is essentially an all-seeing, all-knowing narrator that essentially controls him and advises him on every move, from riding his scooty to his ultimate villain in life. This is basically OP as hell, but it's kept believable because of how cleverly the story uses it. Maaveeran is a masala flick that has exaggerations in it, but it takes place in our reality for the most part. Satya's fears are completely understandable and even accentuate his internal logic of cowardice. He wants no trouble, no danger to befall any of his family, but this behavior is exactly what ends up getting his sister sexually harassed. With no redemption or revenge taken. In a really tragic scene where his mother disowns him and his sister has to speak up for him and tell her that Satya decides to up and off himself. He instead knocks himself out and wakes up with a voice in his head. Now we have our unlikely hero going up against a classic evil. The symbolism of how you need essentially the voice of God in your ear to actually defeat a single housing minister is a really cheeky statement to make. It adds to the overall theme of how corrupt people use ancient hierarchies to their benefit at the cost of a powerless populace. It's quite a stereotypical superhero story from here on out. Hero goes up against the villain fights back, hero loses, second act low point. Hero rises up, defeats the villain, turns from coward to hero. Now we see why this film stands out amongst the sea of unoriginals. The themes. A thematic arc is arguably more important than a narrative arc. All these Marvel flicks have a character arc, a narrative arc, but nothing thematic. What are you trying to explore with your narrative that is beyond the hero/heroine learning a lesson or defeating the problem? Structural hierarchies apparently. The power of an artist, classism, self-belief. The structural hierarchies being a literal flimsy set of structures built for these people that are in danger of collapse at any time. Maaveeran's plot point of a flawed building in danger of imminent collapse is ditto marks the plot of a virtually unknown Russian masterpiece called The Fool. The director himself credits it, by the way. In it, a naive and idealistic young man tries to get help from the local authorities to prevent a building collapse. Instead, what he and we witness and realize is a political quagmire of problems across various departments, each with real human people just looking out for themselves. It is an incredible film and I highly recommend it. Maaveeran takes that thread and springboards off it to explore its its own themes, all of which are neatly explored in tandem with the movie. Satya fighting classism and inequality is directly tied to him discovering the true power of his pencil and himself. His art and his accident are what give him this power. The fact that Satya has to die to be reborn with these gifts is neat as well. He has to pay for this power. Satya going deaf by the end is the cherry on top that confirms the strong thematic arc that's been cleverly and intentionally baked into it. Now he hears nothing but himself. A large part of his character is that he's a coward who has no reliance on self. He can't believe in himself. He cannot listen to what he really wants to do. This is also confirmed in the finale, where before the fight starts, the voice says,
Maaveeran குனிந்து அடியிலிருந்து தப்பினான்.
The fact that now he hears nothing but himself is thematically, symbolically, and narratively really well done. The finale where the villain dies by his own design is also symbolically neat. But that his character assassination happens because of an innocuous and fair question. This is also tied to the fantastic soundtrack. If you still haven't seen it because it's the yearly masala flick, I urge you to please give it a shot. There's so much passion, artistry and thought behind it, and I cannot wait for whatever director Madon Ashwin does next. As Satya says,
Veerame Jayam.
And yeah, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Like this video, share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can look forward to more videos like this in the future.